Sigma males are not loud. They don't fight to be seen. They don't raise their voice just to prove a point. Instead, they observe, think, and move in silence. This quiet way of living makes people curious and sometimes nervous. What many miss is that behind that silence is a very sharp mind. Sigma males don't just think a little deeper, they think differently. Their intelligence isn't shown through fancy words or big titles. It's shown through how they move, how they solve problems, and how they stay ahead without needing a crowd. They're often misunderstood. Some see them as loners or outsiders. But that's because their minds aren't focused on fitting in. They're focused on understanding the world, mastering their skills, and thinking beyond what others see. What makes their intelligence so terrifying is not how much they know, but how deeply they see things. They notice patterns. They understand people. They stay 3 steps ahead. And all of this happens while they keep a calm face and say very little. They're not trying to compete with others. They're not out to prove they're the smartest. But their intelligence still stands out because it shows up in what they do, how they react, and the way they handle pressure. Their thinking is strong, but their presence is quiet. That mix of power and silence makes people uneasy. You can't predict them. You can't manipulate them, and that makes them hard to control. In this video, we'll look at 6 powerful ways Sigma male intelligence stands apart and why it makes people nervous. Their strength doesn't come from shouting. It comes from thinking. And once you see how their mind works, you'll understand why their intelligence isn't just smart, it's intimidating. Reason number 1, deep analytical thinking. Sigma males see the world like a puzzle. Every move, every word, every action is part of something bigger. They don't take things at face value. They break them down, piece by piece, to understand what's really happening beneath the surface. This way of thinking starts early. Even as kids, Sigma males notice what others don't. While their peers are reacting fast, they're watching quietly. They're looking at patterns, body language, tone of voice, and they're learning. As they grow older, this habit of deep thinking becomes their strongest skill. When a situation comes up, they don't just respond. They pause. They ask the right questions. They look at the details that most people ignore. Then they put it all together in a way that makes complete sense, often long before anyone else catches on. This type of analysis helps them in every area of life. In work, they solve problems faster because they see the real cause. In conversations, they notice what's not being said. In planning, they already know where things are going before the rest of the room has caught up. That's what makes their intelligence so dangerous. It doesn't just react, it sees ahead. It doesn't need a team to figure things out. The Sigma male can sit alone in a room, connect the dots, and come up with answers that surprise everyone. And because they don't show off, people don't see it coming. They're quiet, calm, maybe even overlooked, until they speak, and suddenly the whole room changes. Not because they raised their voice, but because they saw something no one else did. This scares people who like control. If you can't predict someone's thoughts, you can't control their actions. If someone sees the truth before you do, they can move before you're ready. That's the Sigma male. Their deep thinking is not just smart, it's sharp. It's the kind of intelligence that changes outcomes. That turns the tide. That makes leaders stop and listen. And they don't even try to show it off. That's what makes it terrifying. It's silent power, and it's always watching. Reason number 2, innovative problem solving. Most people solve problems the same way. They follow the steps they were taught. They copy what worked before. But Sigma males don't think like that. When a problem shows up, they don't just ask, "What's the normal solution?" They ask, "What actually works here, even if no one's tried it before?" That's what makes them different. They're not stuck in the usual ways of thinking. Their minds are open. They don't fear trying something new, even if it seems strange at first. In fact, that's where they shine the most, doing what others would never think of. When a system fails, Sigma males don't panic. They study it. They figure out why it broke. Then they build a better way. They don't wait for someone to fix it for them. They create their own solution, and often it's one that no one else would even consider. This creative approach works because they trust their mind. They know they don't need outside approval to try something bold. And because they've been thinking deeply for years, their new ideas aren't random. They're rooted in understanding and logic. People around them are often shocked. The Sigma male walks into a mess and walks out with a plan that works. Not because he followed a guidebook, but because he created a new path. This is where the fear comes in. People who depend on old systems get nervous when someone shows a better way. They feel exposed. They feel challenged. And the Sigma male doesn't argue, he just proves it by results. Their creative thinking also makes them flexible. They don't freeze when things go wrong. They adapt. They shift direction. They find another way forward. While others are stuck, the Sigma male is already building a new route. It's not just intelligence. It's invention. It's problem-solving powered by bold thinking and calm focus. That's what makes it terrifying. Because you never know how they'll solve the problem, but you can be sure they will, and their answer will often be better than anything you've seen before. Reason number 3, lifelong learning. Sigma males never stop learning. For them, growth is not a phase, it's a way of life. They're always reading, watching, listening, and thinking, not to show off, not to win debates, but to understand the world better. They don't just learn from books. They learn from people, situations, failures, and even silence. Everything is a chance to grow. Every moment is a chance to think deeper. This constant hunger for knowledge makes them smarter with time, while many others stay stuck. When Sigma males find a topic that matters to them, they dive in. They study it for hours, not because they have to, but because they want to. Their curiosity has no off switch. That's why their knowledge runs deep. And they don't stop once they know the basics. They go past surface-level facts. They want to know how things work, where they came from, and how they connect to the bigger picture. They keep digging until the pieces all fit. This mindset makes them dangerous in the best way. Because they're not just smart, they're always getting smarter. Every day, every year, they sharpen their mind a little more. Quietly, steadily, until they can walk into any room and understand more than they say. This scares people who depend on staying ahead by standing still. Sigma males don't fall behind because they never stop learning. And when they come across something they don't know, they don't panic. They study, and soon they know more than the people who once taught them. They also know how to learn fast. They ask better questions. They spot important details. They connect ideas quickly. That speed makes them hard to compete with because they're always leveling up. And the best part? They do it alone. They don't need a class, a group, or a mentor. They're their own teacher. And that independence makes their learning even more powerful. This lifelong learning turns them into silent experts. They don't talk unless they know. But when they do speak, their words carry weight because they come from real understanding. And that kind of mind can't be ignored. Reason number 4, emotional intelligence. Sigma males are logical, but that doesn't mean they're cold. In fact, one of their most powerful traits is emotional intelligence. They don't just understand ideas, they understand people. They read emotions clearly. They watch body language, tone, and energy. Even in silence, they pick up on what others are feeling. This makes them excellent at reading a room, spotting tension, and knowing who's real and who's fake. But they don't just observe, they manage their own emotions too. When they feel anger, they don't explode. When they feel sadness, they don't break down in front of everyone. They know how to process feelings in private and respond calmly in public. This control doesn't come from hiding, it comes from understanding. They know how emotions work, and they don't let those feelings run their life. That calm energy makes them very hard to rattle. It also makes them excellent listeners. When people talk, the Sigma male doesn't just hear the words, he hears the meaning behind them. He listens fully, not to respond, but to understand. And when he responds, it's clear, thoughtful, and direct. People often underestimate him in the beginning. They think he's too quiet or too distant. But when problems come up, they turn to him. Because he stays calm, speaks with clarity, and helps others see what really matters. His emotional intelligence also helps him avoid manipulation. He knows when someone is lying. He knows when someone is playing games. And because he doesn't get pulled in by fake feelings, he stays in control. He doesn't argue for fun. He doesn't try to win people over with charm. He stays grounded and lets his actions speak louder than emotion. This balance of logic and feeling makes him powerful. Most people lean too far one way. They're either too emotional or too distant. The Sigma male walks right in the middle, calm, sharp, and clear. And that scares people who are used to using emotions as weapons. You can't guilt him. You can't trick him. You can't push him into a corner. He sees it coming and he walks away before it starts. That's emotional strength. And it's part of what makes Sigma male intelligence so dangerous. Reason number 5. Strategic thinking. Sigma males don't move without thinking. Every step, every choice, every word, they all have a purpose. They are natural strategists. They plan things out not just for now, but for the long run. They don't just react to what's in front of them. They think 5 steps ahead. When everyone else is chasing the quick win, the Sigma male is watching the whole game. He waits, prepares, and makes his move when the time is right. This kind of thinking shows up in all areas of life. At work, he knows how to position himself for growth without begging for attention. In relationships, he understands who's worth his time and who isn't. In daily life, he avoids traps others fall into because he saw them coming long before. Sigma males don't rush. They value timing. They know that making the right move at the right moment matters more than moving fast. That patience paired with vision gives them an edge most people don't have. They also keep their plans quiet. They don't announce what they're working on. They don't ask for approval. They act, then reveal. That silence makes them unpredictable and very hard to stop. People around them often don't even know what the Sigma male is building until it's already done. By then, it's too late to compete. While others were busy talking, the Sigma was making quiet progress. This strategy also protects them. They don't walk into traps. They don't fall for emotional bait. They see motives. They read people. And they plan their actions to avoid drama and protect their peace. Even when they face failure, they don't panic. They adjust the plan. They shift gears. And they stay focused on the big picture. That kind of focus can't be taught. It's earned through discipline and deep thinking. Their strategic mind allows them to build a life that works for them, not for society's rules. They don't follow trends. They follow truth. And that truth shapes every step they take. When others are guessing, Sigma males are planning. And that's why their intelligence feels like a threat. It's quiet, careful, and always one move ahead. Reason number 6, self-reliance. Sigma males depend on no one. That's not because they don't trust others, but because they've learned to trust themselves more. This deep self-reliance is what makes their intelligence even more powerful and even more terrifying. Most people need support to function. They need someone to guide them, approve of their choices, or help them feel secure. Sigma males are different. They move through life fully responsible for their own choices. If they fall, they get back up alone. If they fail, they learn from it and keep going. This mindset means their intelligence isn't built on teamwork or group validation. It's built on personal trial and error. They learn what works by testing things themselves. And once they know it, they own it. No one can take that knowledge away. This self-reliance also shows in how they make decisions. They don't need to ask 5 people before choosing. They think it through, look at the risks, and then act. They trust their mind to lead them in the right direction. They also solve problems on their own. When others are stuck waiting for help, the Sigma male is already figuring it out. He might be quiet, but he's always working in the background, learning, building, adapting. This makes him hard to control. You can't threaten to take things from him because he doesn't rely on others to provide those things. His value isn't tied to his job, his friends, or his reputation. It's tied to his mindset, and that makes him unbreakable. Even when he does work with others, he keeps his independence. He's a team player by choice, not by need. And if the team falls apart, he can still move forward alone. People who depend on the crowd don't understand this. They think being alone is weakness. But to the Sigma male, being alone is freedom. It gives him space to think clearly and grow without noise. His self-reliance is quiet, but it's strong. He doesn't need to prove it. He lives it every day. And the results speak for themselves. That's why his intelligence hits harder than most. It doesn't come with support. It comes from self-mastery. And no one can take that away. Sigma male intelligence doesn't come with bright lights or big talk. It comes in silence, in planning, in deep understanding. That's what makes it feel different, and that's what makes it feel threatening to the world. People are used to measuring intelligence by titles, grades, or loud success, but Sigma males don't need any of that. Their mind works on a level most don't notice until it's too late. They're already ahead, already working, already building something smarter than what was expected. They're not trying to be the smartest. They're trying to be the most effective, and they don't stop until they get it right. That drive, paired with their calm energy, creates a type of intelligence that you can't compete with easily. They think deeply, learn daily, read people, and trust themselves. They aren't loud, but they're powerful. Not because they dominate others, but because they don't need anyone to tell them who they are. And that's what truly scares people. Intelligence that moves in silence. Intelligence that grows without being fed by fame or applause. Intelligence that doesn't follow orders but creates new paths. Sigma males don't demand attention, but they earn respect. Not by force, but by results. And in a world full of noise, their quiet mind is the most dangerous thing of all.